Hello, I'm Saeed. Here in this video I'm going to show you a demo of VitoDeploy and how it works, how you can use it. So yeah, stay with me for a couple of minutes. So I already have the VitoDeploy installed on my demo server, and here I'm gonna use it to install itself as a self-hosted. So here you can see an overview of the server, like how many websites you have, databases and cron jobs, and here you can see some logs, the recent logs that are happened on your server, and of course you can open them. And the websites, we will create the website itself, but first I will go to the database and create a database. So I will call it Vito. I will also create a user for it. Let's call it Vito user and some password, and then create. So the VitoDeploy will create a database on your database server, I would call it, and then it will create a user, and then it will link the user to that database. Here also you can see the password and you can copy it, and here we go, we have the database and the database user. So I will use this on the env files of the website. Well, let's take a short tour of how the other places of the application actually works, like the PHP part. So you can manage your installed PHP versions here, and even you will be able to install another version like this. So this will go to a queue and it will start to install the PHP 8.1 on this server, and after that, after it's done, you will see it here as ready, and then it will give you this option, so you can change the CLI version to the newly installed PHP. So until it installs the 8.1, I can show you how the firewall works. So VitoDeploy installs UFW as a default firewall application on your server, so you can manage your firewall. It installs these three rules by default on your server: an SSH rule, HTTP, and HTTPS. You can see the ports here, and don't delete this, because if you delete this, your VitoDeploy instance will lose its connection to your server. So be careful on that. But anyway, you can create new rules, and let's go back to the PHP. Yes, our PHP is ready. So as you can see, you can switch the PHP version. It will try to switch it and then restart it. So after that, you will see that the new PHP CLI is here. So VitoDeploy also gives you this option to edit the PHP ini version, PHP ini variables, and you can even restart the PHP FPM, or you want to get rid of it and you can uninstall it. So whenever you hit the edit php.ini, it will download the current version from your server and it will load it here, so you can edit it and then save it. When you save it, it will upload it to your server and then restarts your PHP, so it will be available. But anyway, let's go to the websites and try to install the VitoDeploy via VitoDeploy itself. So we will select Laravel, as VitoDeploy itself is a Laravel application. So here I will pick a domain name, demo.vitodeploy.com. So one note about this, you need to, let's say if you're using Cloudflare, you need to create an A record pointing to this IP address of your server. Under this A record, I'll say subdomain, and sometimes your website's coming with one extra www as a subdomain, and you might want to also add this by like entering www dot the rest of the subdomain or domain that you're using. But anyway, I'm gonna skip it here. I will select the PHP version that I want my VitoDeploy application to run with, and here I will go with PHP 8.1, as the default version of the VitoDeploy is PHP 8.1. I will select the directory, which is public as the default of Laravel. Then I will select the version control. So first you need to connect your version control. In this case, I have GitHub. If you want to connect GitHub, you will come to this page and enter your API token from GitHub here, and it will try to connect it. And then you will have the option here. So because I didn't have any name, probably I updated the database somehow, and here it just shows the provider. But anyway, I will enter the organization and the repository of VitoDeploy like this, and the main branch, or I can leave it like that. And then I might need to click this to run the composer install --no dnv. However, you can skip this and run it when you're running your deployment script. I will have it, and then I'm gonna try to create the website. Oops, I forgot this somehow, or what happened. But anyway, so, and great. Okay, so now it is trying to install the clone the repository, but it will create an SSH key, and then it will read it, and then it will deploy the key into your GitHub repository as a deployment keys, and then it will clone it, and there you go, you have the application here. So I will go and copy the env from the VitoDeploy itself from the env.prod, and here you will be able to paste it. So I'm gonna need an application key, so I have a pre-generated one here, but you can also run this as a deployment script, or just SSH to the server and run it. And here I will enter the URL, and then yep, we have the database username and password. So the database is Vito and user, and the password that we selected during the database creation. I don't need anything else, I guess, and yeah, that's pretty much of it. And I will save it. It will try to update the env file from your server, and there you go, it's done. I will close it. Then I will go and have some sort of a deployment script, and for this I will get it from the updated SSH of the VitoDeploy itself. So there you go, we have it down, git pull, and then composer install, and yeah, probably I don't need this right now. And then I will save it. So we have the deployment script. Here we have a small bug. So anyway, I will refresh it so I get the deploy button enabled, and then I will hit the deploy button, and then let's wait for the deployment. So probably it's not gonna take that much, but yeah, let's see. And anyway, you can also go to the logs to see what's actually happening here. And as you can see, we cloned the repo. We had one composer install. Yep, our deployment has been finished. You can see the deployment logs. Great. And now we can open the demo on a new tab. Okay, yeah, that actually copies the public path, so probably another bug, maybe, haha. But you can open it like this as well. Yep, that's it. It installed the VitoDeploy on your server. But you might not gonna need this. This is just for demo. To install VitoDeploy, you just need to run like this. Yeah, you can, my bad, you can find it in the documentation, and there is an installation guide, so this will make your life much easier to install it anyway. But yeah, we just try to install it here, and yeah, that works, so great. Then you will have this option to create an SSL and queues. You can create supervisor queues here. You can select which user should run, and here is actually this public path, I would say, can be used here, like PHP. You can paste it here like this, artisan queue work like this, and you can make it work like this, maybe. Yeah, and it will create the queue job worker, I would say, and then you can do many stuff with that. Here you will be able to switch the PHP version of your application very easily. VitoDeploy will handle it from in your server and your web server, actually. And I would say that's pretty much of it. And here you will be able to set up a cron job, for example, like this, artisan scheduler 1, for example, with a Vito user and maybe frequency, and you can even select a custom and enter your own cron job. This is this is the SSH key part. You can add an SSH key to your server and try to SSH to that server very easily. Here you will be able to see the services that are running on your server, like the databases, PHP versions, supervisor, even the firewall, and it gives you this option to stop them or restart them. And in the setting page you will be able to find some information regarding your server. If you change your IP, this will help you. This is the public key of your server. You will be able to use it. I don't know, sometimes you will need to add it to your source control, for example. Then this option, which will delete your server, but it will also delete your server from the provider if you're using any specific provider when you're creating the server. Like here I used Hetzner to create the server, and if I delete this server, it will also delete the server from Hetzner Cloud, so you're not gonna pay much. And here in the logs you will see, of course, all of the stuff. And we have this profile section. I would call it account settings, so you will be able to do some changes soon. Some great features will come in, like two-factor authentication, and you will be able to connect to your server providers here. Vito currently supports all of these server providers, and you will be able to connect these 3 source controls. You can add notification channels, Slack, Discord, and email to get notified about any actions of your server. And of course, the general SSH keys that you can store them and deploy them to each of your servers. Yeah, that was pretty much of the VitoDeploy, how it works, a short demo. Not actually a short demo, but anyway. So soon we will have much more features, and I hope you will enjoy them. Until then, have a nice time and bye.